What started as a simple celebrity interview turned into one of the most intense moments ever seen on daytime television. Prince Harry, America's misunderstood royal, clashed with Kelly Clarkson live on air, and it ended with him being escorted out. What really happened inside that studio? Why did Kelly snap? And what triggered Harry's emotional breakdown? This is the full story of a live TV disaster no one saw coming. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss stories that pull back the curtain on the world's most dramatic confrontations. What happens when a live interview breaks down beyond repair? When a calm conversation turns into a full-blown confrontation in front of a live studio audience, with cameras rolling and millions watching. When someone as beloved as Kelly Clarkson finds herself facing off against a royal guest who is no longer playing by the rules. This is not just another daytime television moment. This is the kind of unscripted chaos that leaves everyone speechless. Prince Harry came to the Kelly Clarkson Show to talk about something meaningful. His mission was simple: share updates about his work with veterans, shine a light on mental health challenges, and keep things positive. But what unfolded instead was anything but. It started normal. Kelly doing what she does best: friendly, respectful, kind. Harry responding with the same thoughtful energy. But then, something shifted. One question, one topic, and everything started to unravel. What should have been a smooth, heartwarming conversation turned into a raw, emotional standoff. Producers were signaling. Crew members were frozen. The audience did not know whether to clap, gasp, or stay silent, because what they were witnessing was not in the script. This was not a media stunt or a planned argument. This was something real. In today's video, we are breaking down the moment Prince Harry was kicked off the Kelly Clarkson Show. The tension, the words exchanged, the final walkout that shook the studio. This is the full emotional breakdown of a moment caught live on camera, and no one saw it coming. The Kelly Clarkson Show has always been known as a safe space. That is what made it different from other daytime talk shows. It was not about gotcha questions or digging for gossip. It was about warmth. It was about real connection. Kelly built her reputation by being honest, approachable, and deeply respectful of her guests. People came on her show because they felt they could trust her. Whether it was a rising actor or a Hollywood legend, they all walked away saying the same thing: she listens, she cares, and she never pushes too far. So when Prince Harry agreed to appear on the show, no one expected anything out of the ordinary. His team said it would be a light, positive conversation. He was there to promote his latest charitable project, a new mental health initiative focused on veterans. It was part of a larger campaign he had been working on for months. Public appearances, speaking events, short-form interviews. The Kelly Clarkson Show was just another stop on that tour. Behind the scenes, the energy was upbeat. Harry arrived on time with his security team and exchanged smiles with the crew. Kelly, finishing her prep, looked genuinely excited. She had her note cards in hand, ready to ask about the veteran support centers, about the recovery programs, about the real people Harry was trying to help. The studio was set, the cameras were ready, the audience was buzzing. Everything pointed to another easy, inspiring episode. If you have not subscribed yet, now is the time. These stories take you behind the scenes of the most shocking celebrity moments, and we have so much more coming your way. The cameras rolled and the lights warmed the stage as Kelly Clarkson welcomed her guest with that familiar smile. She leaned forward in her chair, energy bright, and said what everyone at home was already thinking: "We are so excited to have you here. Every time you come on, you bring such heart with you." Prince Harry smiled back, nodding politely. Visibly relaxed, he thanked her, his voice calm but full of purpose. He said he was grateful for the chance to talk about something that truly mattered to him. From the very beginning, the tone was easy and open. Kelly had done her homework. She asked about the newest programs his foundation had launched. Harry explained how they were expanding veteran outreach centers across the country. He talked about how important it was to create spaces where former service members felt heard. He shared a story about a young soldier he had met just a few weeks ago, someone struggling with PTSD who had found peace in group therapy for the first time. As he spoke, you could hear the emotion in his voice. It was not scripted. It was honest. Kelly listened closely, nodding, sometimes placing a hand to her chest in sympathy. She responded with care, asking thoughtful follow-up questions. You could see she was trying to keep the focus on the work and not the headlines. She said things like, "That is so powerful, and thank you for sharing that." She praised the team behind the initiative. She made sure Harry knew this was the space to talk about the mission that brought him there. The audience was completely with them. People clapped during heartfelt moments. Some smiled when Harry made a quiet joke about how he was still getting used to California weather. Others leaned in during the more serious parts. It felt warm. It felt like the kind of conversation you to expect from a show built on trust and kindness. For the first 10 minutes, everything was working exactly as planned. It was emotional, it was inspiring, it was exactly what everyone had hoped it would be. Then came the question that changed everything. Up until that moment, the energy had been calm, steady, positive, but Kelly, trying to guide the interview into something more personal. leaned in slightly and asked, "Can we talk about balance between your new life here and your old ties back in England?" The words were gentle. Her voice stayed warm. There was no edge, no judgment. But the shift in Prince Harry's body language was immediate. He straightened in his seat. His smile faded. His fingers tensed slightly on the armrest. His eyes, which had been soft and engaged, turned colder, more guarded. And when he spoke again, his tone was different. "I thought we were here to talk about veterans," he said, "not tabloid gossip." There was a pause, not a long one, just enough to make the air feel heavier. Kelly blinked, still smiling, but something in her face changed too. She had not expected that answer. She tried to stay calm, to keep things light. She nodded and said, "Of course, and we will. Your work is incredible. I just thought, since you have been so open in the past, maybe you would want to share how you manage it all. The balance, I mean." Harry leaned forward, his tone still firm. "Is that what this is now? Authenticity? Balance? Or just another angle to bring up things I have spent years trying to move past?" The audience grew quiet. A few heads turned. You could feel the mood shift. Kelly kept her voice steady. She said, "I think people admire you because you have been through a lot, and you are still standing. That is powerful." Harry shook his head slightly. "Powerful would be if we could talk about what actually matters without it always circling back to drama." The warmth in the room had faded. What was supposed to be a respectful segue into Harry's personal life had turned into a confrontation. And though Kelly tried to move forward, something had already cracked. The tension was there now, sitting between them, refusing to leave. Prince Harry shifted in his seat. The calm expression he wore earlier was gone. He was no longer just a guest talking about a cause. He was someone who felt cornered. "I came here to talk about veterans," he said, his voice tight. "Not about my personal life, not about what sells headlines. I have done that before, and every time it gets twisted." Kelly leaned forward slightly, trying to soften the moment. "I get that, I really do. But I also think people connect with your journey, the things you have been through, the choices you have made. That is what makes your advocacy work hit home." Harry let out a short breath. "You think my trauma helps people care more about veterans? That they only pay attention if I give them something personal first? That is the problem. People say they care about the cause, but what they really want is the drama." Her face stayed calm, but her eyes showed something else. Frustration. Maybe confusion. She had handled so many tough interviews in her career. This felt different. "Our audience is not here for drama," she said carefully. "They want real stories. They admire you because you speak honestly. That honesty gives people hope." He looked right at her. "Hope? Do you think it gives me hope when I talk about losing everything, and the next day my words are on every tabloid cover? You want honesty, but only when it fits your show's format. You want inspiration, but it has to come packaged with just enough pain." Kelly blinked. The audience was quiet again. Nobody dared move. The air in the room felt still, like it was waiting for someone to say the right thing and pull it all back on in the control room. The producer was waving toward the stage, trying to signal for a commercial break. The cameras kept rolling. Harry continued, "I am tired of this game. Tired of pretending like I can share something meaningful without giving up more than I want to. Every time I speak, people pick it apart, turn it into something else." Kelly looked down at her note cards. She was not reading anymore. She was thinking, maybe trying to choose her next words carefully. "This show has always been a place where people feel safe," she said quietly. "I have tried to make that true for everyone, including you." Harry paused, then sat back slowly. But the tension was already there. It was not going anywhere. Prince Harry stood there, frozen for just a second. The word hung in the air. Fragile, one word, and everything changed. The studio went silent. The audience did not move. No one even whispered. It was like the room itself was holding its breath. Kelly's words had landed harder than she expected. You could see it in Harry's face. His jaw tightened. His eyes widened just slightly, like he could not believe what he had just heard. "Fragile," he repeated. But his voice was quieter now. Not weak, just hurt. The kind of hurt that makes a person stand a little straighter. His hand went to the microphone wire on his chest, almost instinctively. It tugged slightly as he shifted forward. Kelly stayed standing too. She had not backed down. Her arms were crossed, her eyes locked on his. It was no longer about questions and answers. This was personal. This was two people staring each other down, both unwilling to blink first. Prince Harry looked around the studio. He saw the cameras, the audience, the crew, all of them still, watching, waiting. He looked back at Kelly. "You think I am fragile because I do not want to answer a question about my family?" His voice cracked again, not from weakness but from something deeper, like he had been holding too much for too long, and that word finally cracked the surface. Kelly did not respond right away. She seemed to realize what she had said. Maybe it came out sharper than she meant. Maybe it came out exactly as she meant. Either way, the damage was done. Harry stepped forward again. "Just a little." His voice was louder now, steadier. "You want to talk about fragile? Try watching your life get picked apart by people who do not know you. Try having your trauma turned into trending topics. Try building something good, something meaningful, and having every interview turn into a trap. The audience still said nothing. No claps, no gasps, just stunned silence. No one knew what to do. The show had left its usual path. They were in completely new territory now. Kelly finally spoke. Her voice was low but sharp. I think you are so used to being protected that you cannot handle being challenged. That was it. The moment everything truly broke. Harry pulled the mic off his chest and let it drop. It hit the floor with a quiet thud, but in that room it felt like an explosion. He turned slightly, ready to walk off, then paused, because even after everything he still had more to say, and he was not leaving without saying it. Kelly tried to bring the energy down. Her voice softened, but you could hear the tension still sitting in her chest. She said, "Let us get back to the reason you are here. Let us talk about the veterans. That is what matters." Prince Harry did not sit down. He did not smile. He did not let it go. He looked right at her and said, "You, to say that, but this show does not actually care. You care about clips, you care about viral moments, you care about a headline that gets people talking." Kelly blinked. Her mouth opened just slightly, like she had been hit with something she was not expecting. Harry took a step closer, lowering his voice, but somehow making it feel louder than anything else in the room. "You pretend this is about meaningful stories, but the moment I put up a boundary, suddenly I am being difficult, and then you turn around and act like I attacked you." She raised her eyebrows. You could see it clearly now. Her patience was gone. "You think I am playing the victim?" she asked, almost laughing, but not from humor. "You come on my show, you set all the rules, and then when I ask one question you do not like, you blow up, and I am the one playing the victim." Harry did not back down. "I am here trying to talk about people who are actually struggling, veterans who are fighting to survive, but that does not sell, right? Not like royal drama." Kelly took a step forward. "You are not the only one with struggles, Harry. You act like the rest of us have not been through anything. You are not the only person in pain." They were both standing now, both talking over each other. The words started piling up. Frustration, defensiveness, wounded pride. It was no longer an interview. It was a fight. In the wings, the producer gave a quick nod. Someone reached for a headset. Security was alerted. Back on stage, the volume kept rising. The calm talk show vibe was gone. This was raw. This was two people who had reached their limit. The smiles were gone. The cameras kept rolling and the audience could feel it. Something was breaking in real time and no one could stop it. Prince Harry stood frozen for a moment, eyes locked on Kelly. The energy in the room had shifted completely. What started as an interview had turned into something no one could have predicted. Kelly's voice was sharp now. "Get out." Harry looked stunned. "You are kicking me out of the show." She nodded once. "Yes, you have disrespected me, my team, and this space. You crossed a line." From the wings, two security guards began walking toward the stage. The audience, still silent just moments ago, started pulling out their phones. You could hear the soft clicks of recording apps being opened. This was no longer just a talk show. This was a moment everyone would talk about. Harry saw them coming. He raised his hands. "Do not touch me. I will leave on my own." He turned, took a few steps, then paused. He looked back at Kelly, at the cameras, at the faces staring at him. His voice was quieter now, but it cut through the room like a pin drop. "The veterans I work with are not fragile. They are strong, stronger than anyone gives them credit for. They just want to be heard, that is all." Then he walked off the stage. His security team followed him without a word. The studio stayed silent, unsure how to react. Kelly stood alone in the spotlight, still breathing heavily. Her arms were crossed, her eyes fixed on the exit. She looked out at her audience, then into the camera. "We will be right back after this break," she said quietly. But deep down, everyone knew the show had already ended. Kelly stood frozen for a second. Her chest was rising and falling fast, like she had just run up a flight of stairs, but she had not moved. She had just stood there and watched everything unravel right in front of her. She turned slowly to face the camera. The audience was still completely silent. No music, no laughter, just a heavy, still quiet that filled the whole studio. Kelly looked straight ahead. Her voice came out tight, but steady enough to keep it together. "We will be right back," she said, done. The screen cut to black. Backstage it was chaos. Crew members were whispering, pacing, trying to figure out what had just happened. A few people were on phones already, checking if the clip had started spreading. The producer was standing near the control booth, hands on his head, not saying a word. No one had expected it to go like that. Within hours, the clip hit the internet. At first it was just short screen recordings from the audience, a few seconds of shouting, Harry walking off, Kelly's voice saying, "Get out." But then, the full video surfaced, and it blew up. Millions of views poured in. Headlines popped up everywhere. Prince Harry walks off the Kelly Clarkson Show. Talk show meltdown. Kelly and Harry clash on live TV. Everyone had an opinion. Some defended Harry. Others said Kelly was just doing her job. Comment sections were flooded. News channels replayed the moment again and again. But behind the cameras, one thing was clear. That show would never be the same again. Neither would they. So what really went wrong? Was it Harry's deep pain finally surfacing after years of pressure, or was it Kelly's question that pushed things too far? Maybe it was both. Maybe it was the perfect storm of raw emotions and broken trust, all playing out under the hot lights of daytime television. What started as a routine interview about veterans and mental health turned into something much bigger. One question. That was all it took. A single question about family balance, asked with a calm tone, but loaded with history, pressure, and a world of unspoken emotion. In that moment, we saw something rare. Not just a celebrity snapping, not just a host losing control. We saw the emotional weight of public life crack open in real time. Years of headlines, judgment, personal loss, and media scrutiny, all bursting through the surface. It also raised a lot of questions. Where is the line between interest and intrusion? At what point does asking a personal question cross into exploitation? And what responsibility do interviewers have when sitting across from someone who carries that much emotional history? Kelly has always been known for her kindness and honesty. Prince Harry has been praised for his vulnerability and openness. But that day, those strengths clashed in a way no one saw coming. Some people say Harry overreacted. Others think Kelly should have never brought up his family. But maybe the truth is, both were trying to do the right thing, just from very different places. And now, people are wondering, will Prince Harry ever do another daytime interview again? After something like this, can he trust the format? Can any celebrity with real trauma ever sit on that kind of stage without wondering when the next question might cut too deep? One thing is certain, that episode of the Kelly Clarkson Show changed things. For Harry, for Kelly, and maybe for the entire world of celebrity interviews. So, what do you think? Was it a breakdown or a breakthrough? Leave a comment below, and do not forget to subscribe for more stories that dig deeper than the headlines. So, what do you think was the real trigger here? Was Kelly out of line, or was Harry already at his breaking point? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button. Share this with a friend, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one.